Watch the ride.
Hey everybody, hope you're all doing alright out there. So yes, today I genuinely am going to be talking about the fact you should go on green. And if you're thinking, how is this even a video? Give me a minute, there is a reason. There might be some interesting bits in here. I find that if you hold back 10%, if you take 10% larger gaps rather than smaller gaps, you give yourself 10% more time, 10% more room, you just pull things back by 10%. You remove 90% of the problems you encounter on the road. I don't get near misses with people nowadays because I saw it coming. Yes, observations are part of that, but I just find that everything just flows a lot smoother if you don't push that last 10%. So the second thing to establish is the reason why I'm talking about this. Recently in a video I pointed out, because I was behind a couple of bikes, how they both went on amber. And then the next set of lights, they both went on amber. And I talked about how you'll notice that nowadays, for some strange reason, people are going on amber. You may have even noticed people going on ambers rather than greens yourself. One of my Discord admins pointed out the fact that he lives in near London, and he's seen more people jump reds in the past year or so than he has for a long time, and I have to agree with him. But when I then sat and thought about it, I never used to see people jumping reds. It was quite a weird occurrence. Now, maybe a couple of times a month at least. I mean, the other day I saw a lorry cut me up, failed to indicate, and then jumped 2 red lights in front of me. A lorry, a professional driver. Firstly, we need to establish the fact that when you're approaching a green light, you're supposed to be prepared for it to change, and if it goes to amber, you should stop. This is approaching a green, okay? This is not actually the point of what I'm talking about here. We're talking about green on go, but on approaching one, you should stop at amber. But you know that lots of you, and me, if it's close, will add a little bit of extra gas to get through that amber. Just to make sure you got through it. Now, legalities wise, if you go through an amber in that context, you have actually committed an offence. Of course, obviously, the only time that's going to turn into an offence is if the police or a camera or something catches you and they determine that you could have stopped in that distance safely, because of course if you approach a green and it turns to amber and you can't stop safely in the distance remaining, then you're perfectly within your rights to go through it. Okay, cool, so we've established that too. Right, now I need to find somewhere to stop and explain this last bit, because I did try and do this at traffic lights, but you're never at them long enough to actually, show the context to what I'm trying to say. Okay, so this is my point and why you really, really, really should wait for green. Other than the fact that the law specifically states that you don't go until it's green, as in you don't move until you see a green light, amber is prepare to go and prepare to stop. There is a safety reason and a timing issue as to why you really want to wait for that green, and why that extra second or two might save you a nasty scenario. So, imagine I am at a set of traffic lights that goes off down this road, and there is another set of traffic lights over here somewhere that also goes off down that road. I have a red light, okay, which means the one over there has a green, and I'm sat still when the traffic's pouring through. Everything's fine. Then their light is going to go to amber and to red. At the same time, but a split second afterwards, our lights are going to go from red to amber to green. This means if you have a combination of someone at this green light going when it's amber rather than waiting for green, and you have someone on this light who either runs the red, runs the amber, or just pushes their timing a bit, you have a scenario where you are going to get T-boned by them right in the middle there. Now on some roads, that's 60 miles an hour. So it should be pretty obvious there as to why you want to wait that extra second or two for the green, because it might save you from getting hit by someone running the red or really running the amber, depending on the distances between the lights. Now, someone in the comments of that video said that they would rather go on amber because they don't want to get rear-ended by a car behind them. If you're at a set of traffic lights and you've come to a standstill, you're not likely going to get rear-ended because you waited an extra split second. If you were going to get rear-ended, you were going to get rear-ended, and by this point you've probably been sat in traffic for a little bit of time. Also, when you filter to the front in traffic lights, you're actually not supposed to go to the front, you're only supposed to filter to the first car that's at the line and sit behind them. The reason for this, and the reason I do tend to do that, is because you're then in the middle of the lane or slightly off your lane, but you actually have the ability to pull away when you want to and block the cars behind you. When you're between them, when you're at the front, yeah, I can see why you end up going on amber, because those two cars are going to also do it, And if you don't, you'll end up being sandwiched between those two cars, or cars trying to overtake you on either side and the other, from either side of you. So that's also a bad situation. So I do get why people do this, but if everyone would go on green, it would be a lot safer. But also, as I say, don't filter to the front, filter to behind the first car. As I say, I had a comment from someone saying that they were avoiding being rear-ended. I don't know about you, but I would much rather be rear-ended at a standstill than T-boned at 60. And this is what I mean about if you approach life with critical thinking, with actual logic, with actual, thinking about the risks and stuff, going on amber seems like a very silly thing to save you a very short amount of time. And the fact that everyone's doing it nowadays, and it doesn't seem to be in any sort of control, is a bit of a concern. I mean, not so much for me, because, I will generally wait for green unless I'm forced into the situation that I can't. And then that's probably been my fault from filtering right to the front between two cars. So there you go. That's basically my point. Go on green. It's much safer for you. I cannot believe I'm making this video. It seems so ridiculous, but hey, it's 2023 and it seems like we have to go back over basic stuff now. Really basic stuff, and explain why. I thought it was self-evident as to why you wanted to wait for green. It's better for you. But apparently, I don't know. If you have any thoughts on this, please do leave your thoughts in the comments. I'd really appreciate it. If you like the video, like the video. And if you want to help support this channel, please consider doing that through Patreon. Tomorrow, I'm going to be reviewing a bike. It's one I've never ridden before. It's not a 125. It's bigger than that. So, yeah, you might enjoy that one. Catch you on the next one. Bye-bye.